Hello everyone, my name is Abalex, and today I'm starting Tiny Bunny, which is like a horror visual novel game, kinda, I think. We'll see. I'm not sure. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song, weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest. The dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Episode 1, The Owl Will Arrive.
Убери книгу немедленно.
Are they speaking a different language? Can I change that? I guess I can't change that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I guess it has to be in, like, I think Russian? Hey, put away your book.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. I'm slouched too. Ooh. I didn't protest and put the book away. Put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
Пока не съешь, из-за стола не встанешь.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. And I realized my cam is covering her face. Maybe... hold on. There, we'll try it like that. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. Ew. It looked like a jellyfish from the Questao Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Yes, the trenches, the football fish is prepared. Or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes.
Что я говорила?
What did I say?
Я достану.
I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No. She's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Oya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice.
Тайга особое место, детятка.
Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Она к тебе присматривается, принюхивается,
It's watching you closely, sniffing you out,
словно хочет понять, что ты за зверь такой.
trying to discern what kind of beast you are.
Понравишься, в беде не бросит.
If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble.
А будешь проказничать, схватит за бочок и утащит с собой под землю.
But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground.
Тут и дело с концом.
And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Oya was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
Оля, гляди, лиса!
It's a wolf, a fox. Oya, look, it's a fox.
Где?
Where? It almost looked like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision just a little bit and look under a certain angle.
Да не на улице, на стекле.
Not outside, on the window.
Смотри, вот нос,
Look,
вот.
here's the nose, and here's...
Ну-ка, доедай.
Hey, eat up.
Да, да, сейчас.
Yes, yes, just a moment.
Я ничего не вижу.
I don't see anything.
Живо. Совсем немного осталось.
Hurry up, there's not much left.
А, вот.
Ah, there it is.
Но все равно не
But it still
похож.
doesn't look like one.
А я говорю, похоже.
And I'm telling you, it does.
Не-а.
No.
Похоже.
Прекратите.
Stop it.
Ну что за дети?
Kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. Wow, this is gone. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern similar to stretched out nettle knives, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Not quite. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off. It stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Oya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Devo. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Да что твоя лиса? Вот у меня на окне
Anyway,
сова.
your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window.
Опять ты со своей...
You and your owl talk again.
Так ты же вчера
You said
мне
you believed me just
верил.
yesterday.
Никто ключи от машины не видел?
Has anyone seen my car keys?
Вроде оставлял
I
на
remember
подоконнике.
leaving them on the windowsill.
Вроде.
Right.
Вроде оставлял,
Maybe you
вроде
did,
нет.
maybe not.
Вроде взрослый мужчина,
You're
отец
a
двоих
grown
детей,
man,
а
a father of
вроде...
two, and
Перестань,
still.
пожалуйста, Карина.
Karina, stop, please.
Дай мне спокойно
Just let me get
собраться.
ready in peace.
В корзине твои
Your
ключи.
keys are in the
возле
basket
телефона.
near the phone.
Огромное
Well,
тебе
thank you
человеческое
very
спасибо.
much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, stop making a martyr of yourself and finish eating already. But the owl.
Не было там
There was
никакой
no
совы.
Была!
But there was one.
Глазюки
It had
огромные
giant glowing
и
eyes.
светятся.
Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу.
Last year you had
Сейчас сова.
bye-bye in your closet, and now this owl.
Но я же видела!
But I saw it. Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support.
А ты не думала подружиться
Have
с
you
ним,
thought
нет?
about befriending it?
Вымышленными
You know, like
мышами
feeding it with
покормить,
imaginary
например?
mice?
Не подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our girl.
Просто мала еще.
She's just afraid to
Спать
sleep
одна
alone
боится.
because she's little. Oya pouted in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Ooh, she's giving him a strict look, dang. Can't see him because I'm covering him, but she mad. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was storied on incredible worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It still works! It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. I mean, it's not really, but okay. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Throw away the porridge! Get rid of it! Here's the trash can! Oya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Ooh. Then Oya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Oya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids, but all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends, I had also enjoyed my paintings. And they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or Anton is not around. Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easy going during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there, amidst the cold snowy night, right? Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled all on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains and with a swift motion stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guests move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right and circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of the chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket, listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words.
На острове Буяне, в синем океане, стоит домовина, в ней сало и глина, волосы седые, чертям еда, раба Божьего Антона не тронут никогда.
On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from Devil's Lair, to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton.
Бесы забудут дорогу к дому.
Evil leave this house must.
Мертвый к мертвому.
Ashes to
живой к
ashes,
живому.
dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone.
Мертвое к мертвому.
Ashes to ashes.
Живое к живому.
Dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them and drilling the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The winds haunted me, moaning inside the 10 trains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. Before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не
Oya,
сплю.
I'm not sleeping.
Что
Did something
случилось?
happen? Oya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me.
Пялится на меня.
Shoo her away, Tosha, please.
Прогони, пожалуйста. Я так
I'm so
боюсь.
scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Oya down.
Это был сон, глупая.
It was just a
Не
dream,
пугайся.
silly. Don't be
Сны не
scared.
кусаются.
Dreams don't
Никто
bite.
тебя не
No
обидит.
one's going to harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея.
I have an idea.
Пойдем к тебе в комнату.
Let's go to your
и
room and watch the
посмотрим.
video.
Спящую
Sleeping Beauty,
красавицу,
for
например.
example.
Тебе же нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы
Why
принц,
does the
а у
Sleeping
меня эта
Beauty have a
страшная
prince and I have this
птица?
scary bird? That question took me by surprise.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with his eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Тоша, ты идешь?
Tosha, are you coming?
Да, сейчас.
Yes, just a moment. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. That got me. So that was a nightmare. Okay. That made me jump pretty good. Okay, is this a good stopping point? I think so. Alright, thank you anyone who's watched this far. I hope you're enjoying this. I am. I'm gonna have to make shorter episodes of this because talking this much is gonna be like hard on my throat. So probably like 20-minute episodes. That was really good though. That jump scare got me. I was not expecting that at all. I thought it was all settled down at that point. Oh well. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.